Good evening and good afternoon, everybody. And welcome back to TezAsia Hackathon. For today's workshop, we will explore more into NFTs on the Kalamint marketplace. So I would like to introduce you to our guest, our speaker, Mr. Pradip. He is the director of marketing at Kalamint, and as an earlier proponent of blockchain in India. He has actually worked as a head of marketing across the barriers for countries like Singapore, Hong Kong, and US for many other blockchain companies like Haberex and IO. And then he also has and then he also has recently worked at ADDX, which is the first regulated MES licensed blockchain market investment firm. So I would like you guys to actually listen onto him, and actually he's from Kalamint, and he can teach you some of the great NFT products and things, and how to what kind of value there is on the NFT marketplace on Kalamint. Okay, thank you, Mr. Pradeep.
Thank you so much, Brian. Thanks for the lovely introduction as well. Hello, everybody. So I am Pradeep. As Brian explained, I am the director of marketing at Kalamint. We are one of the first marketplaces on NFT marketplaces on Tezos. We are around 5 months old right now. I'll first just quickly take you through where the business has been, like how we started to where we are. Then I'm going to actually do like a live demo of me like collecting on NFT and everything. Then I'm going to explain about what you can do with Tezos and why Tezos is a very important component in the entire NFT marketplace where the future is. And at the end, I would also like to tell you that we are actually coming up with a hackathon, which we are rewarding cash prizes and also uh, some art from the platform. And so it'll be awesome to have you guys participate in that and everything. I'll just start sharing my screen so you all can just take a look at where we are, what we are doing, and perhaps go from there. All right. So yeah, we started in March 23rd, 2021. The development and everything was happening for around 3, 4 months by then. The founders Sandeep and Harsha, they were with the Ethereum ecosystem before, and then they moved into Tezos because of the number of advantages that Tezos has over the competitors. I'm going to show you where we are, where we're going, etc. Okay, so far we have had over 10,000 registered accounts. Registered accounts are basically the users that Calamint has, and this is all in 5 months of its existence without any. It's all organic marketing. We don't do any paid. We don't do anything, and it's mostly word of mouth. We've had over 800,000 unique sessions with an average time of 5 minutes spent in each session. So that's a lot of time spent on Calamint, either buying art or selling art or just browsing through it. The 35,000 unique visitor count that is multiplied again, and over right now it's over 3,000 verified artists that we have, and my volume of this per day is close to around 1,500 dead, and so that comes up to around $5,000. Blah blah blah. The number of assets, that is the number of pieces that are on the inventory of Calamint is, we are close to 24,000 different assets right now. And around 100 users from over 186 countries have logged in, and we have sessions recorded from Antarctica as well. Antarctica, you name the country, we have a presence there at least in one session. Total sales till date for over the last 5 months, we are close to around 236,000 tens. That's $140,000 shy of $1 million, and this is just from the community and how Tezos helped us go there as well. Month on month sales has always been increasing from April to July. We are just and July to August we have actually beaten those numbers already, and we're going to be over, I think, over 200% this month, and we're always increasing as well. We've been featured across Forbes, New York Times, blah blah blah, all the big names, because NFT is an extremely important phenomenon that's happening in the world, both internet and the physical world. And Tezos is a very important component, and we are one of the important components of the Tezos NFT market ecosystem. We've had partners from JPEG or Home, Moonwell. We are the official partners of the virtual where we are actually building cool virtual galleries. Tezotopia, the first NFT world conquering marketplace, and they are our partners as well. Where are we going? And we have a very interesting roadmap kind of built for where we are going to go. Hives is something that we are building, that is the storefront. It's your own storefront that the creators, the product, or a collective, a group, anybody can have. And we are actually, Tezos is known for clean NFTs, especially because of the energy hungry marketplaces, like let's say some marketplaces on Ethereum and other power hungry sources. And we are also exploring other use cases of NFTs in terms of tickets, in terms of finance, banking, insurance, because all of these, uh, with art and all the collectibles, I think we're just scratching the surface of what NFTs are and what NFTs could be. So we are actually going much further down on that, with the metaverse, with the galleries and all of that. We are just on the surface, and we are going much deeper into the ecosystem. Um, so that's like a very broad overview of who we are, where we are, and where we are going. One of the most important things of building an NFT marketplace on Tezos, especially, is that we can absolutely be 100% certain that we do not burden the environment, and the minting cost is extremely low. There is extreme low barriers of entry. So what that means is, for example, on let's say on Ethereum, like if you want to mint, if you want to create an asset and put it up for sale, you would have to perhaps pay through your nose and gas fees, for example, something like 25-30 dollars to put one piece up. And on Tezos, you would the cost of minting is actually fewer than 10 cents. And that is the difference, and of range that we are actually talking about, which is where's $30 and where's 10 cents. So that is why a lot of environmentally conscious brands, environmentally conscious people, artists, creators, collectors, all of them are moving into Tezos right now. And the proof of pudding is in the eating, and that's why the other marketplace on Tezos, one of the biggest ones, called Hicketnunk, is the fastest growing NFT marketplace in the world, and we are also trailing them as the let's say the second biggest marketplace on Tezos, and we are always in the DAP radar across marketplaces ranking. We are consistently ranked 15 or higher. We are always in the top 15 from our launch till date. And one of the things that we do that perhaps nobody else in the NFT ecosystem is doing is that we mint every individual piece on the chain. What that means is a lot of marketplaces or platforms, what they do is they have one asset. That's the only one which goes onto the chain, but they have 50 copies or 100 copies of that particular piece, and then the editions become 100. But we put every single asset on the chain. What that means is that we are poised for eventually, if we want to do a cross chain transaction, it's possible because of the way we store data. All the data of Calamint is stored on chain. And what that means is, even if tomorrow, let's say, we all, like the platform ceases to exist, like Calamint does not exist anymore from tomorrow, All the assets that are created, collected, everything is still available on the chain individually, because Kalamint, the website, is just the UI of what already lives on the chain. So eventually, because the proof of ownership NFT is essentially an absolute proof of ownership, and you cannot own something which is not on the blockchain in the first place, and you cannot claim that we are, it's not that the data is not fully on the chain. It essentially means that it's not fully on the chain. It needs to be there, and that's when the true ownership of an asset comes in. So that's basically the quick introduction of what Calamint is. And we have, I mean, you can just follow us on Twitter, because you can come into our Discord or Telegram, and you can field your questions in there. And what that basically does is, we are kind of innovating all the time. We were the first marketplace on Tezos to bring in auctions. We are the only marketplace, perhaps across the internet, where we store everything on chain. And so there are a couple of innovations that we're doing in terms of what we are doing with the metaverse, and when we're building, and the world of NFTs is extremely growing really fast, and Tezos is actually leading the way in terms of how sustainable it is over time, because we can do something today, and perhaps in 5 years down the line, it could be extremely detrimental to the environment. So the way Tezos is built, we can keep the chain on forever, and it would still not, hurt the environment the way we think it would. I would actually just right now just take you through the platform, just in a very quick way, where I'll kind of show you how it looks and what we're doing and things like that. So this is the homepage of the platform. I hope the screens are loading fast enough for you. And so we have auctions, we have explore auctions, drops, etc., and you can create, and basically you can start minting. I can actually show you how we kind of buy a piece, so that it's easier to show. So this is, let's say there is a piece here, and buying it is as simple as like 1 2 3. So my Temple wallet is already connected. All I need to do is just go click and buy. So the you I don't know if you can see the tab opening here, and sorry, I need to put in my password. Okay, so you can just see the tab opening, and if you just click on confirm here, it's it's done. So I am the owner of this as soon as the buy operation is complete. And we have assets ranging from 0.001 TES to um, 10,000 TES. The biggest purchase has been 3,500 TES so far, and our average prices are much higher than, average sale price is much higher than most of the NFT marketplaces around. And this is because it's more controlled. What I mean by that is, people just can't come in and mint, because there is a little bit of checks that we do just to ensure that the copy minting does not happen, because that's a massive problem with NFTs in general, where I can take somebody's work in and claim it to be my own. So what we do is we just have a very quick check, where we ensure that people, we the creators are who they say they are, to verify their identity, and show that, okay, so they are the actual creators who own this piece. And after that is when they can start minting pieces on the chain, and that kind of deters copy minting, and we have not had issues with any copy minters so far, which is people claiming to be somebody else, and then stealing credit, and kind of making money off of that. And we have creators from across, let's say, 150 countries so far, and and we support most of the platforms. I'll just show you how to mint. So these are all the file types that we support. You name it, and we support it, including 3D files and animated 3D files and all of that. So what you can do with that is, because there is an AR integration as well for the 3D files, you can use the AR to kind of have the asset on your mantelpiece, as you can just keep it as on your house, or you can just play around with it. These are all my collections of of pieces. So this is how you can take a look at it. When I collect a piece, I can see it, I can list it for sale, and I can play the secondary market as well. And we actually allow for 75 MB of the maximum file uh, size is 75 MB. So that's pretty high, compared to most of the other platforms, and that is only because we allow for file types like this. So for example, this is a 3D file. So I can do all of this with the file, right? So it's 3D, and I can if I am on phone, I can actually do an AR as well. So I can kind of mimic this box bunny, whatever, on in my a living room, in on my table, and it sits there. And that's kind of what we're building. So what we're building is essentially a kind of an completely open marketplace, where users can come in, experiment. We have people launching their music videos with us. They're actually planning on releasing books, and they're planning to release music videos, collectibles in terms of comic books and all of that. So the expanse of what an NFT could be is actually limitless. It need not just be limited to art, or discipline of art. It could be absolutely anything, and anybody thinking of starting or creating your own NFT marketplace, you absolutely should consider all of this, and understand that perhaps Tezos is one of the best chains to actually do it. And the support that you get from the Tezos community, especially the early community members, is amazing. And half the guidance and the help and the direction was actually given to us by just the Tezos community members. They guided us into what we are right now, and from where we were to where we are right now, a lot has actually been shaped by the early community members, and it's an incredible community to be a part of. And you should uh, Tezos is perhaps the best marketplace chains right now, because it's very clean, it's extremely inexpensive, and it does not take a toll on the environment, especially when the nearest or other competition is actually kind of they don't have all the advantages that a Tezos Tezos chain would have. Having said that, coming to the third part of the discussion, so we were actually considering or thinking of actually doing a hackathon with Tezos India and Tezos APAC, because we were trying to build something for as an extension to the Kalamint platform. We would want some analysis and statistics, especially in terms of sales and graphs and everything. And we would I would be defining the parameters sometime soon, and I will have a discussion with Tezos India Foundation and TZ APAC, just so that we can have the maximum exposure. And of course, the hackathon will be accompanied with pretty good cash prizes, and also we're going to be rewarding some pretty cool art from the platform onto the winners and the runners up, and perhaps the third place as well. So we'd invite everybody to come and just take a shot, because that would be like a good entry into the NFT ecosystem. And NFTs are, I mean, we are just starting off, like with NFTs especially. The future is really really bright, and we're just getting there. We're just starting. We're just scratching the surface, and perhaps in the next 4 5 years, everybody is going to be talking about NFTs, and you should not miss the bus on something as big as the revolution of NFTs that we are living through right now. So that has been just the basic explanation, and where we are. I just kind of quickly did a platform walkthrough, and also gave you like a hint on the hackathon and what we're planning to do. So if you guys have any questions in here, you can just kind of put it in the comments, or you can just raise the questions any other way, and I'd be glad to answer. And I'll also provide the links at the end, so you can just come on, hop onto our Discord, hop onto our Telegram, anything that you'd want. I'd get the developers to answer the developer questions. If you want to know basically how the business side of it works, I'm always there. Where we are, what we can do, I mean, you can come in and kind of experiment on the platform, and I'd always be there to kind of help you, guide you, and support you. That's about it from me. Hey Brian, that would be back to you. I don't know how to kind of see the questions, so if you see any questions, please shoot it across to me.
Yeah, so hi viewers, and thanks for coming. I mean, like, thanks Mr. Pradeep for actually coming down to actually talk about NFT and on Kalamint. And if the viewers here has any have any question, please post it here. I mean, I think we still can discuss a bit more about NFT, like how, or what do you actually think of NFT, of NFTs in the future, like have a different variations of NFTs and things like that. You could you give us a explanation of a bit more, like to things like what you can, like more of the future of NFTs, like, yeah, like in terms of art and things like that. Yeah.
Sure. Actually, that's a very good question, because a lot of I mean, the way that, let's say, a lot of the general populace looks at the NFT market is only when it hits the big news, saying, hey, "Oh my God, something was sold for $1 million," and I don't understand this. Like, it's a JPEG. Like, why can't I download the JPEG? Why is that worth $1 million? I usually use an analogy to explain things why something is worth $1 million, but if you have the JPEG of it, it's not. It's like saying, okay, so the Mona Lisa in the Louvre, everybody says that let's say it's worth $500 million, right? But I can just go on to Google and say Mona Lisa and download it and put it as my wallpaper. If I try selling that wallpaper to you, Brian, for $500 million, I would possibly be put into jail, or worse, to a mental hospital, saying, okay, you're crazy. You're just selling me a wallpaper that you have on your screen for $500 million, because that is the true essence of the blockchain. And what the NFT does is it actually proves the ownership. And the ownership is the most important part of the NFTs. Did I did I stop?
Oh
No,
no,
you can still hear
no,
me, right, Brian?
yeah, I can still hear you.
I I
You
think I
didn't cut
froze
off.
for a
Yeah.
second.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay,
Okay.
sorry. I
Yeah,
think I got froze for a
we
second.
we we managed to get all of that. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so
It's about like the ownership, right? Yes, it's about that. I mean, it's the most
exactly.
important is that.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so ownership is the most important, most important factor of an NFT. Like, for example, if a people or any artist comes in and they kind of do a piece of art, in the provenance part of the blockchain, I can go back until the original creator to say, okay, so this is exactly who it has come from. And that is why it is worth so much. As opposed to, if I'm trying to, let's say, emulate Leonardo da Vinci and say, hey, I painted the Mona Lisa, right? So people would know that, okay, you did not do it. But what if it's, let's say, a newer artist? It could be something like a song. What if I sing a song and I say, hey, I created this song. But if there is an NFT already of another musician singing that song and it's already on the blockchain, everybody knows that okay, so in terms of ownership, that is the original singer. That's the actual stuff. What I'm buying is a fake. And think of it like any asset that a person can own. If I say, let's say I have a car that I bought, which I'm told in an auction house saying it, hey, it was driven by Elvis Presley, and I just have to trust somebody, which is the auction house, in there saying, hey, perhaps Elvis Presley drove this car, but actually it was just driven by Joe next door, and I paid $1 million for that car. It just does not make sense. So if on on record on the blockchain, unaltered, I know that yes, Elvis Presley actually drove this car. Let's say I have a photograph or a video of that particular car, Elvis Presley driving it, that car, and it's sold. I can trust it, saying, okay, even if I want to drive that car, I can, because this is this is the real deal. And if I sell it, I can sell it because the next seller knows that it is the real deal. And that is the beauty of NFTs, of what it could be. Right now, we are just scratching the surface, as I told you, with art, with music, with comics, and a host of other things. But what it could be in the future, why can't it be bills? Why can't it be an insurance paper that you would require? Why can't it be a the property deed of land? It could be, it will go on forever. The countries, I mean, even the change of ownership, the change of countries, whatever it is, the original owner can be traced, and it would mean much fewer places. I mean, opportunities for fraud, for theft, and all of that, because the ownership is always established. It's proven, and it can be proven over and over again, and it lives on the blockchain forever. So banking, insurance, shipping, even, and anywhere there is a bill component or a proof component required, NFTs can become a very, very big replacement or an alternate of that particular thing. So that's where I see NFTs going in the next 5, 6 years, where bigger organizations going to be starting using NFTs as a replacement of their physical proof of identity, of it could be of anything. So that's kind of the thing.
Okay, thank you so much for for the great explanation of of the verification and the originality that this person actually has when he actually owns the NFT and things like that. And like I also thought that perhaps like what do you think about like because for blockchains we take out a lot of the middleman fees, so in one sense it's also more fair towards a person when he wants to sell it to the individual. It's more towards the individual thing, that it becomes more pro individual, if you think about it. Yeah, if you agree
Yeah,
with it as well.
and
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And actually, one of the most currently, what I see is one of the most underrated professions, or underrated disciplines, is actually the creative field. Because apart from, let's say, the top 0.001% of the the creme de la creme of the creative field, everybody else is underappreciated and underrated. Like, there are hundreds and thousands of creators. They could be artists, they could be painters, they could be they could be singers. All of these guys, they are creating amazing stuff, but without recognition, and because they can, let's say, never break into the bigger market, bigger art market of that, because it is kind of, let's say, it's very controlled and it is only for the elite. So that is something that the NFTs did, especially because it broke the elite. It kind of removed the middleman, and right now, an artist in Argentina could be sitting in and make a beautiful piece, and somebody in Australia could just say, "Oh wow, this is beautiful," buy it and sell it to another person in Germany, and the original creator, makes his royalty. The first buyer from Australia, he makes his sell, and the person in Germany has perhaps bought the piece, and they can just hang it up on their wall. So the middleman is gone, the borders are gone, and there is nobody, kind of dictating, saying what qualifies as good art and what goes on to the auction houses, what goes on to the selling places. That is something that NFTs have done, which is it has removed all intermediaries from the platform, and it is actually giving a voice for, let's say, the very very small, who could have never ever broken through the ranks. And right now, actually, I mean, just I could be a little bit of a digression, but I'd just like to say that I have so many artists from the mm, third world countries and much poorer countries compared to the West, like Europe and the US. uh, NFTs are a very, very important source of their income right now. People have quit their jobs and they just depend on NFTs for to earn their livelihood. And that's a beautiful story. I have artists who are from very, very small villages in Indonesia who have quit their jobs, whatever they were doing, and because they were designers in and they have started, creating beautiful pieces of art, and they're earning 5 times what they could earn in a month in one sale on an NFT. And I think that's the true democratization of what the actual creators versus who is willing to reward that creativity. And I think so that's why I believe it's just the start. I have so many artists from India. I just have so many artists from Indonesia, Philippines, Argentina, all of them, and a lot of them depend on the sale of their NFTs to actually run their livelihood. And to know that we have actually built a platform on Tezos that is actually helping somebody pay the bills in Indonesia, and thanks to somebody who's living in Germany, and it all happened through a platform that is built on Tezos. I mean, that actually humbles you when you think of it in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you about it. Yeah, because I think like it's a new kind of economics that is coming and things like that, and it's an open system for everybody, and it helps to bring them out from, if they had some kind of talent, it helps them to bring and bridge their talent onto them. All this for this kind of platforms helps them to actually, get a better source of income and things like that, and like so I do have one more have question. So like now, because there's so many of the blockchains, there are many other have blockchains. uh what do you think is like the most, what do you like, there are competitors like OpenSea and in Ethereum, and things like that. So how is Kalamint is going to help, like in a way to keep it, how do you say, keep the competition up, yeah. Yes.
Sure, sure. Yeah, that's a fair and it's a valid question as well, because uh, in the marketplace ecosystem right now, there are mammoths. There's giants in the ecosystem like your OpenSea, because they just got funding of, I think, some $20 million valued or $1 billion. They're giant. Like they have the firepower, they have the ammunition to kind of, let's say, go into the market and get it in there. What that actually what that does is news like that saying, okay, so there is an NFT marketplace which is worth $1.5 billion right now, and somebody like an Anderson Horowitz has invested 23 million, $30 million. It signals that we are just at the start, because that's possibly, it's that is we are just at the beginning of it. Like, think of, let's say, blockchain in the 2013 2012. Like, it was only to a very very small community. And what I think is that there is space for everybody, meaning I think we are at one hundredth of the capacity of the total marketplaces that we are going to be having. So right now, yes, the competition are excuse me. Right now, the competition are your open seas and your variables and your known origins and all of that. But the one salient advantage that Tezos has over any platform Ethereum is the environmental consciousness and the minting fee. So going back to the earlier example of the creator from Indonesia who whose, let's say, daily wages are lesser than 50 cents, right? That person could never afford to mint on Ethereum because they would need $30 to just put a piece up on an open sea because it's quite expensive. And on Tezos, it's fewer than 10 cents. So that is actually we are allowing people like uh, like the friend from Indonesia who could never have afforded to ever get onto the Ethereum platform. So until they clean up their act in terms of the environmental friendliness, and there is a very good I think there's a very good meme I saw the other day, which was there is a polar bear sitting on an ice cap, and it says to mint one piece on Ethereum, the energy that is consumed is there is I think there is a mound of snow and that's burning, and it says that on Tezos to mint a piece, the this tiny snowflake that is on the polar bear's nose, that is how much energy it consumes. So energy consumption is a massive, massive thing, and it cannot be overlooked, especially with how climate conscious the world is becoming. So what that means with competition, direct competition with any Ethereum based platform is that brands, celebrities, all of them eventually will start looking at platforms on Tezos because they don't want to associate themselves with some a platform which is extremely power hungry and which is actually let's say harming the environment when there are viable alternatives available. If there were no alternatives, yes, that's the world we live in, and perhaps we can't help it. But when there are absolute alternatives available and these alternatives are catching up, so eventually I think Tezos is actually going to rule the NFT space. That's, I mean, you heard it here first, folks. Like, I think in the next 5 years, it's going to be there because just because of the way that Tezos is built and it being a proof of stake, and because of the way that how well the ecosystem is developed. And I think I just was seeing another interview the other day where they said Tezos is all work, no talk. Like, we're not going and just shouting everywhere from the rooftop saying, "Hey, this is Tezos. Please do this. Please do that." We're all work. We're just like there's a big, beautiful ecosystem developing. A lot of developers building on Tezos, and events like TezAsia Hackathon, TZA Pack, Tezos India Foundation. We're all building the ecosystem. We are doing it in all tiny bits and pieces. So that's the way any ecosystem grows. And eventually, we are. I think that's why I'm very very bullish and I'm very very hopeful of Tezos future.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Pradeep, for your great explanation on why, like the other on the blockchain and NFT markets are like, in a way slightly inferior on to us because of their energy consumption. And it's like a great thing to actually to actually share about what your thoughts on NFT and things in the future, and how it helps like the ordinary have people, change their lives in a meaningful way. And I think for like the people here who are going to see this who are going to see this workshop, and for later on we'll also to understand that they can actually build their products here on on Kalamint, and many other things. Then it's still like a start. Like as what you say, it's still like a start. So it's still a long journey ahead of us, and it's still a great thing. So I think so I think we can actually end off this session now. So and once again, thank you so much, Mr. Pradeep, for actually coming down here. Yeah, so it's been a great honor.
Thank you so much, Brian, for having me. And anybody who's looking or you want to just catch up, talk to us, anything, just you can just go on to Kalamint slash underscore IO on Twitter. We have all the links in. You can just come and ask away your questions. Just join the community, even if you're either a creator or not a seller. You can just come in, just see how the NFT marketplace works from the inside, and we'll kind of guide you along to just show you what we're doing and everything there. Thank you so much, Brian, TZ, APAC, and Tezos India for having us. It's as always, it's a pleasure speaking to you guys.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Pradeep, and have a nice day. Have a nice good. It's a good Friday. Yeah.
Thanks, Brian. You too.
Okay.
Enjoy your weekend. Bye bye.
Thank you.